Or this just in case. All right. Doug, we ready to go, sir?
On the record, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chuck McLean. I'm the Chief Public Utility Law Judge at the Maryland Public Service Commission. Today is August. Right. Doug, we ready to go, sir?
On the record, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is. Sorry about that. I just muted that. My apologies. Today is. It's August 6th. It's a couple minutes after 1 o'clock. We're here in case number 9742, which is captioned TPE MD KE51 LLC's application for a certificate of public convenience and necessity to construct a 5.0 megawatt solar photovoltaic generating facility in Kent County, Maryland. We're here for a pre-hearing conference. We'll start with appearances. We'll start with the applicant.
Good afternoon, Judge McLean and everyone. Maggie Witherup and Carla Weber on behalf of the applicant. Present with me virtually is Francis Uhas with the company, Heather Hutton with the consulting engineer, Kimley Horn, and Chris Martin is also with Kimley Horn.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. OPC.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Brock Miller on behalf of the Office of People's Counsel.
Good afternoon, Mr. Miller. Staff.
Harrison Chair on behalf of the technical staff of the Maryland Public Service Commission. Would also like to enter the appearance of Peter Wilson.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. PPRP.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Sandra McLemore on behalf of the Power Plant Research Program. Also, I'd like to enter the appearance of Steve Tolson with our office.
All right. Good afternoon, ma'am. And finally, the county.
Yes, Thomas Yeager, County Attorney for Kent County, Maryland. And also on the call is William Mackey, the Planning Director for Kent County.
All right. Good afternoon, gentlemen. All right. So let's first do the petition to intervene. I believe everyone has hopefully had a chance to review it. Is there any opposition to the county's intervention in this proceeding?
We have no objection, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
No objection from OPC, Your Honor.
Okay. Your petition is granted. Welcome to the party, Mr. Yeager.
Thank you.
All right, sure. Ms. Witherup, do you have a procedural schedule or anything you'd like to do preliminarily?
Yes, just preliminarily, I did want to note that we did file a certificate of publication yesterday under mail log 311452, just confirming that that notice of this pre-hearing conference was published in the Tidewater Trader on July 24th and July 31st. And has also been available on the Tidewater Traders website since that date.
Okay. Why don't we mark that as applicant exhibit 1? Is there any objection to moving that into the record?
No objection.
All right. Thank you, sir. Hearing none, applicant 1 is admitted. All right.
And we do have a proposed procedural schedule, which we have circulated to the other parties. I just sent it to Mr. Yeager this morning, but I believe the other parties have indicated that they're okay with the proposed schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have some questions and comments regarding that. I've been attempting to print it out. Let me just.
Sure. Take your time, sir.
Did it print out on the other print on the phone? I tried to print it out on that. This thing's still set on 2-sided. We gotta get that default change. All right, I'm back. Yeah, that's another piece of the list for Mike Durkee. Yeah. Okay, I'm back. So, couple questions, comments on the scheduling order. There's no date listed on it for the filing of any testimony of those opposed to the project. It's just the applicant's testimony. So I'm thinking we should have a day when, or a deadline after we review the applicant's testimony, if there's any testimony to contradict that or
sure, and
challenge that.
Yes, sir. And typically there is such a date. Why don't we have Ms. Witherup run through the schedule, and then we can address any concerns.
Okay, because I have a couple of others too. Yeah.
Understood.
And I know I'm the last one into the proceedings here, so I understand that. So I don't mean to step on anybody's toes.
Nope, you're
or
fine,
anything.
sir.
Okay, thank you.
So our first proposed date would be for the applicant's direct testimony, which we anticipate would include the decommissioning plan, and that would be September 19th of 2024.
All right.
We would propose that the first public hearing be held sometime the week of September 30th, 2024.
Okay.
The next date would be for PPRP's direct testimony, and we would propose that any other direct testimony, including any opponents, and that would be January 9th of 2025.
Just to comment on that, we would like to have the date for anybody opposing it to be at a later date. That way we have an opportunity to review the direct testimony and determine if there's anything in there that we have concerns about or wish to contradict or whatever. So we'd like a date, preferably maybe 30 days out from when the direct testimony is filed by the applicant before we file ours.
Well, the
And
applicant.
actually, I realize she did that. Yeah, I see this. She's talking about the PPRP, not the
Right.
applicant.
Your Honor, if I may say something real quick, I
Sure,
think
go
what's
ahead.
I'm sorry. I think what's happened is we took PPRP's proposed schedule, and so informally, we just had put the direct testimony of PPRP. However, typically that's the direct testimony of interveners, including PPRP and anyone else.
Right.
I understand, however, there may be a need for more time involved. This is only after we've had an opportunity to look at it, and I understand the county has not. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that. And this schedule is in the event that it's uncontested after that time frame. If you look, if the settlement status indicates that there's an issue, then the evidentiary hearing would not go forward on February 4th. It would be a contested case, and we'd have to set it then, if that's helpful.
Thank you. That addressed some of my concerns because we have to evaluate and decide what if anything, is going to be contested. My guess is the county's going to have some concerns that we would want to have addressed. The applicant bypassed our planning and zoning, and we do have an ordinance in place with respect to landscaping decommissioning that we feel should be addressed. And then the other comment I have is the date or the week of the second public hearing of January 20th. I
Right.
know that I'm going to be away that whole week.
All right. I'm
So
not sure.
I
Okay. I don't think we've
request
gotten that
we
far
have
yet, but Miss Witherup, what was your next date after the 9th that you
Our
had?
next date was proposed for the second public
Okay.
hearing.
All right, second
Proposed
public
that be
hearing. Okay.
the week of January 20th.
All right, okay, and Mr. Yeager indicated that he was not good with that week. How does the following week look for you, sir?
That's fine.
The following week? All right,
I can find a time. I do have some other things scheduled, but I could find time on that week that would work.
okay. And sort
You're-
of typically the evening comment hearings are held 6:30, 7 o'clock start time, if that helps you.
Yeah, the only thing I would have a concern about is the county commissioners meet on Tuesdays. And they typically have an evening meeting on the first. They haven't set the schedule yet for 2025, but the current practice has typically been an evening meeting on the first and third Tuesdays. So I would probably want to avoid the first or third Tuesdays. And it looks like if we did it that last week of January, that would not conflict. So I
Right.
think we can find an evening that week.
Okay, all right. Are the
Your
parties?
Honor, one question I have, however, is the second public hearing needs to be after we file direct testimony, we being the interveners, including PPRP,
Mhm.
because we have to make that available to the public prior to that meeting. And so if we don't know when we're filing the direct, it might be helpful to understand when Mr. Yeager would like to file the direct before we determine the second public hearing.
So Ms. Wither indicated a January 9th filing date for PPRP, but you're saying that in the event the county gets I guess I don't want to say a second bite at the apple, but an opportunity to respond to your filing,
Right.
you would want the comment hearing after that? Is that what you're saying, ma'am?
No, Your Honor, I'm sorry. I am now understanding that I've misunderstood. So I thought Mr. Yeager was wanting to look at the the testimony, the applicant's direct testimony, and then file on that day. What I hear now is he wants to be able to look at PPRP staff, et cetera, and be able to file after the other interveners. Is that correct?
That is what I understood.
That's what I'm thinking, because I don't know what the position of PPRP is. PPRP may have a position that mirrors that of the applicant. I don't know, but I would have the opportunity to respond to everybody, that PPRP and the applicant. And I'm thinking that I don't think we need that much time, because we're going to have the applicant's testimony well in advance. And I think Mr. Mackey's going to be working with me on this, and I'd be interested to hear from him. But I'm thinking maybe 15 days after PPRP files theirs. That might be a reasonable time period. Mr. Mackey, do you have any thoughts?
Let me say, I would object, Your Honor, in the event that we have to file and then they get to reply without filing direct. So I think we should, my suggestion and my recommendation would be that we would file initial and then reply testimony for all interveners. And so that way anyone can respond to anyone's, like we do in any typical case.
Well, typically, typically everyone files on reply. And then, you have a settlement status, and I understand that we may want to push that back, but it's very easy to insert a rebuttal date for all parties to respond to the January 9th testimony. That would allow the county to respond to everyone. It would allow the applicant to respond to PPRP and staff. And then if necessary, there could be a surrebuttal phase that would allow the applicant to respond to anything in the county's rebuttal.
I'm fine with that. I just want to make sure that the county has the opportunity to respond after everyone else has, because I anticipate, and I can't speak for PPRP, but it's probably likely that PPRP would have a position very similar to that of the applicant. So that's why I would want to have the opportunity to respond. So if PPRP's position was similar to the county's, it probably wouldn't make that much of a difference, but I'm kind of anticipating their position is going to be similar to that of the applicant.
Okay.
And Your Honor, that's what I was trying to say. Just
Understood.
This
Yeah,
schedule
I'm
was
fine with that.
intended, and this was intended in a situation where, in the event that it was, a case where there was no issue.
Okay, understood. So Ms. Wither, coming back to you, how about a rebuttal date of, you said 15 days? That would say, I don't know, we could put it sometime during the week of the 27th. All right.
That would be fine. So all other parties' direct testimony, other than the applicant, would be due January 9th. And then there would be a separate rebuttal date for anybody to file a reply to the direct testimony. That would be the week of January 27th.
Sure. Is there any particular preference one day or the other? Doesn't make a difference to me.
I'm thinking if you did the 30th, that would be a full 2 weeks. If you did the 31st, that would be 15 days. So I'm thinking maybe January 31st, that's 15 days.
All right, very good.
By my calculation.
Okay. So one thing I just wanted to clarify with you, Mr. Yeager, Would
Yeah.
the county anticipate filing any kind of reply testimony to the application on that January 9th date? Because that's typically how a reply
Yeah.
testimony would work, and rebuttal would be limited to only that testimony that was filed on the 9th. So you
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I'm anticipating, that we just want some extra time in case there's something new filed on the 9th that we need to address. I
no,
think that September to January is more than adequate time for the county to address the applicants.
excellent. All right, I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yes, we
All
are.
right, so we have January 31st for rebuttal, for rebuttal. Ms. Witherup, I would anticipate the applicant would like an opportunity to respond to the county as well as possibly PPRP. Do you have a potential time frame?
Yes, we would like the opportunity for Sir rebuttal. I don't think we need much time. I would say
Okay.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Ms. McLemore, would that work for PPRP?
Yes, Your Honor, that would work.
All right, so 2 weeks would put us, would be Valentine's Day. So Friday, does that work for everyone?
That's fine with us,
Okay.
Your Honor.
All right, so then back to Ms. McLemore addressing your concern with the second public hearing. We obviously want to push that back to after the 14th. Is that correct, ma'am?
Your Honor, that would probably be preferable, but if we have our, I guess we're calling it our reply testimony or our filing on the 9th, then it would be okay as long as it's after the 9th, as long as it's enough time for public to be able to, read our testimony.
Well, I'm just thinking, given that we've got a couple extra rounds of testimony and, not knowing how your testimony or position may or may not change based on the other parties, I think it might be better to have it after all the testimony's been filed.
And I would not object. That sounds fine to me.
All right, how's the week of the 17th look for, September 17th look?
You mean February 17th?
Yes, well, I'm sorry, did I say September? I apologize.
That's fine, as long as it's not Monday is President's Day, so.
Understood. And it looks like, so, and you said the third Tuesday, so how about the 19th? It's a Wednesday.
That's fine with
Yeah.
PPRP, Your Honor.
Right. I know we typically don't actually pick the days all right, second public comment here. Be the 19th. And Mr. Yeager, typically what we've been doing is having the first case or first hearing virtually and the second hearing in person at a location that's in close proximity to the project site. Is that acceptable to the county?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right.
So we would be looking at, so this is the second public hearing, so we would have this someplace close probably in Kent County, Maryland.
Absolutely in Kent County, Maryland. And Ms. Witherup will do her best to find a location, and she may work with you as well to find a suitable location.
Yeah, that's fine. So we're gonna do the public hearing, looks like on February 19th.
Correct,
Yeah, February 19th.
correct. And my notes are kind of getting crazy here. And did we decide, I'm sorry, did we decide a date for the first public hearing? I'm sorry.
We said the week of September 30th for
Okay,
that.
that's right, that's right. We did not set a date. We can worry about that later. All right, so next we would need evidentiary date for evidentiary hearing.
Do you want a status update before
Sure,
that?
we could do that. I mean, it may be obvious where folks stand after the testimony, but if you like, we can throw in a settlement status update, ma'am.
I guess I would propose 2 weeks after the Sir rebuttal date, which would be February 28th for just a status update to you.
All right, very good.
Fine. Yeah.
All right. And then an evidentiary hearing, let's just assume that you know, it won't settle. Do we have you have a preference?
Would this be, I know the last one I was involved, or the only one I've been involved in was during the day and it was virtual, as I recall. Would that be the format for this?
Well, typically if it's litigated, it would be during the day and it would be in Baltimore. You know, we've done settlements, you know, where, you know, there's no questions from the parties and maybe only some questions from the judge or from the bench, I should say. We've done those virtually. But my guess is you may have participated in one where it was during COVID. Is that correct, sir?
It was, Ms. McLemore was involved in that too. And it was probably, what, about 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah, so yeah, if it's going to be
Yeah.
a litigated proceeding, we'd probably have it in Baltimore, sir.
Okay, we just need to block, it would be during the day, so we just need to
Yes, sir.
block out the time, and I just asked Mr. Mackey to look at his schedule too, because I think he's a important part of this.
Understood, understood. So we're looking, assuming the settlement status on the 28th, let's just assume that we're going to go forward and it's going to be litigated. How do the parties look into March of 25?
I'm good.
Okay,
Yeah, we generally have county commissioners meetings during the day on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays.
all right, okay. Second and fourth or first and third?
With the county commissioners typically meet weekly, and on the 1st and the 3rd, they typically meet in the evenings, and on the 2nd and the 4th, they meet during the day. Now, again, the
Okay.
schedule is set around the 1st of the year, and there are adjustments, but I'm trying to avoid a conflict, and I'm thinking if we don't set it on a 2nd or 4th Tuesday, that gives me a higher opportunity of avoiding a conflict.
Sure. Okay, we can avoid Tuesdays. How does, why don't we just say March 5th and March 6th? That's a Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, let me just run and take a look at my calendar I have on another computer.
That's fine,
but
sir.
I think that'll work for me. Just give me a quick second.
Sure. And I'd like to run through this just because my notes are all over the place.
I have a question. We start on March 5th, which is a Wednesday. What time do we generally or conclude these hearings? And the reason why I ask that is one of the municipalities that I represent has an evening meeting on the first Wednesday of the month at 6:30 p.m. So if we conclude by 4:30, I can get to where I need to be by 6:30.
That's not a problem, sir.
Okay,
That's not a
thank you.
problem.
So I'm good for those days.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Are there any dates that we missed? We can worry about briefs after the hearing. I'm not worried about that now. All right. All right, let me just run through what I've got, and Ms. Withrop, hopefully, or correct me if I go astray here. So applicants direct will be filed on September 19th. The first public comment hearing will be virtual, and it will be during the week of the September 30th. reply testimony that'll be from all parties will be on January 9th, 2025. Rebuttal will be on January 31st. Surrebuttal will be on September 14th.
February 14th.
February.
Did I don't know why I'm fascinated with September. My apologies. February. You guys know what I'm talking about. The second public comment hearing will be held on February 19th in the evening, in person at a location in close proximity to the project. Settlement status will be provided on February 28th, and the evidentiary hearings. Oh wait, something just popped. Okay, and evidentiary hearings will be held on March 5th and 6th. I get everything? All right.
Yes, that's correct. Just one comment is, do you want to set a date for the first public hearing, the week of September 30th? If it's going to be virtual, then we don't need to find a location
Right.
county, so you can.
Okay, with the exception of Wednesday, it looks like everything, our calendar is clear.
Would this be an evening or a daytime?
It would be an
Hearing.
evening hearing, sir.
Okay,
It would be conducted virtually.
I just, like.
Sure,
I'm gonna-
yep,
I'll
take
check
your
my
time, sir.
calendar again, because it's on a different computer.
How about Thursday, October 3rd? Well, Mr. Yeager's gone, but
Sure.
I was thinking, he says he has commissioner meetings the first and third Tuesday evenings, right?
I believe so.
Does October 3rd work for others?
That works for staff.
Okay, I checked my calendar. That's a tough week. I have Galena Planning Commission in the evening, the 29th, County Commissioners. It should be the evening of the 30th, County Commissioners on the night of the 1st. Town of Southerville on the night of the 2nd. So October 3rd is the only evening that I could do. If
That's
that works for everybody else, it's a Thursday.
That's exactly what Ms. Witherup has suggested and
Oh.
that's,
That works for us.
okay.
Perfect.
Any
Perfect.
concerns on the 3rd? All right. All right, hearing none, the hearing will be on the 3rd. All right. Anything else for today?
Nothing else from the applicant, Your Honor.
Okay.
Nothing else from PPRP, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Yeager?
I was just going to make a comment, and I know we're not litigating the case now, but maybe for some guidance for the applicant. The county's interest is its land use ordinance and it's the integrity of the land use ordinance of the county, the due consideration of it, and the requirements of the land use ordinance being followed. So I just say that as a guide that to the extent that the county may oppose the application, I think the adherence to the county's land use ordinance plays a large role in that.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Yeager. All right. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, I will get a schedule out shortly, and I appreciate everyone's time today. Have a great day, and Doug, we're off the record.
Thank you.